Hi guys. So I see that a lot of you are struggling with your assignment for your lab, for your trades lab. So I'm going to go ahead and make this quick video so that you guys can understand step by step what you need to do in order to be able to be successful on your lab. The common things that I'm noticing is not answering the questions completely, not being able to add pictures to your document, not being able to add the math portion to your table, and not completing the lab in its entirety. And also not being able to have enough people in your group that are your friends or that are your acquaintances. So for your friends and acquaintances, what we're going to do is I did change it up and I did post it on the stream that you can use 3 people that are related to you or 4 people that are related to you, and you can use a combination of peers, cousins, uncles, aunts, your parents, your family members. You do not want to use everybody in your immediate family, because if you do, then you're not going to be looking or getting all of those different traits. So we're trying to identify as different traits in individuals, and how we can make sure that we're seeing people are different is by making sure that we're also going outside of just our parents and our siblings. So you can use relatives, you can use friends from other campuses, you can use cousins, you can use aunts, you can use uncles, pretty much anybody that is not closely related to you. And you are also part of the 6. So it's you and 5 other people. Okay, so make sure that you are reaching out and making these connections with your family, your friends, etc. For the other misconception, make sure that you are understanding the lab in its entirety. You do have to answer all of the questions correctly. So first, when you're looking at this, you should be able to go into your classroom. And on your classroom, it's going to be an assignment that says trait lab, and you're going to also have this recording, which explains to you what your trait lab is supposed to look like. Inside here, you also have a traits lab document, which you will open up. And once you open up this document, it is going to give you several different questions that you're going to be answering. So what I'm noticing is individuals are having a hard time answering the questions in the steps that are posed there. So the first part of the lab is you're supposed to observe your own traits, and you are going to be filling in the box that is located here on the bottom, which is your trait inventory. So you need to make sure that you have your trait, either Form 1 or Form 2. For example, we have one that is almost done. Here is your traits inventory. You should have your traits here. Are they free? Do you have a dimple? Do you have a cleft? Do you have a hairline? Do you have a widow's peak, etc.? And then after that, you are going to be answering the questions. So for the questions, you should have on here answering them using complete sentences. So your first question is, for earlobes, how many of the 6 students do you think will share the same form, free or attached, as you? So if you have attached earlobes, you're going to predict, before you're asking or getting all of this stuff, you're going to predict, what do you think these individuals are going to have? Are they going to be similar to you, or are they going to be different than you? And then you're going to be thinking of all your classmates that you've had interactions with, and do you think that they will share all of the traits as you? And then you're going to make a prediction about the individuals in your group. How many of them are going to have the same form as you? After you've completed the first part, then you're going to go to the lab. Here is where you're gathering the data about individuals. Here is where you're checking to see how many individuals have the same earlobes or the same hairline as you, etc. So for example, if there is 6 of us in a group and 3 of us have Form 1, we're going to put 3 out of 6. Why 3 out of 6? Because 3 people out of the 6 people are having our earlobes that are Form 1. Then you're going to divide 3 divided by 6, and you're going to get 0.50. But we're looking at percents. So as you can see here, you're going to take that number and multiply it times 100. So if you multiply 0.50 times 100, it's going to give you 50%. So if 3 out of 6 had Form 1, and there's 6 of you in a group, That means that 3 out of 6 over here, we're also going to have form 2. And since we already did the math, that means it's going to be 50%. You're going to complete all of this math part for this chart. Once you're done with your collection of data, then you're going to move on to your bar graph. In order to correct your bar graph, you need to click on your graph. It's going to give you a little down arrow to your link chart. You click on the link chart and click Open Source. Once you open the source, it is going to give you access to this document. In here is where you're going to type your responses to the mathematical data that you have collected. So when you move it up, you're going to see your data. You move it to the side, and you're going to see where you're going to be entering information. So for your earlobe, we said that 50% of the people had Form 1 and 50% did not. They had Form 2. So you're not going to put the percent. Do not put the percent and do not put decimal points. You are working with whole numbers. Once you add all of this information for all of your data that you collected, then you are going to go ahead and exit out of this. It automatically saves. And once you exit out of this, you're going to click Update. Once you click Update, it's going to demonstrate the differences in your data. And as you can see, my data is not correct because it should be 50% and 50%. So it did not completely save. So I would open it back up again. It takes a little bit of time to load. Once it opens up, I will scroll all the way to the left and all the way up. And I make sure that I add my 50%. So for my earlobes, it was 50% and 50%. Okay, when I come back and I click Update, I'm sorry, I have to close this first. You have to close this first. And I click Update, it'll go and it'll change to 50% in our graph. Hold on, it's having a little bit of difficulties. Give me just a second. I click on Update, and it is going to show me that they're both the same size, and this is telling me that both of them have the same number, which is 50%. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to answer these questions. And then after that, I'm going to start my pictures. So what I'm noticing here is a lot of you are not uploading your pictures, or if you are uploading your pictures, you are not labeling your pictures. So you can take your pictures either on the computer or you can take your pictures on your phone. If you're choosing to take your picture on your phone, you're going to be first using your app that takes the picture. So you will take your phone, you will take your picture. Once you take your picture, you're going to go into your photo gallery and you are going to find your picture. As you can see, I took a picture of my earlobe and this is my picture. You will then select this button right here that has a square and an arrow. So I select that button right there. It's going to come to a screen that looks like this. Once I'm here, I'm going to click on the mail. So I click on mail and I'm going to send this to myself. So right here where it says to, I will be adding my school email and sending it to myself. Now, once I send it to myself, I need to find it. So I will open up my email. And once I open up my email, I'm going to get a picture of myself. And here is my picture. Okay. So I'm going to save this to my drive. So once you save it to your drive, it's going to be located in what's called My Drive. So when I come back over here, and I refresh my drive, you're going to see that my picture has been uploaded and it is here in my drive. Now, to add this to my traits lab, I'm going to open up my traits lab. I'm going to say insert. So I'm going to come up here to the top. Let me move this really quick. I'm going to click insert image, and I'm going to upload it from my drive. So I go to my drive. It's going to go to recent, and I'm going to click. It's going to go to recent. Let me show you. So it'll say Google Drive. It'll say recent, and I'm going to click on this picture, and it's going to insert it. Once I insert my picture, I'm going to make it small enough so I can work with it, because I don't want this huge picture here. So as you can see, I'm going to select it and make it smaller, and I'm going to put it in the correct place. And then here I would type right underneath it, right? I would type Miss Flores's earlobe. Then I would find the person that has the same trait as me, and I would do the same thing and add their picture here next to mine. Okay? You're going to do that for the first 3 questions that you have in the lab portion. And this one's saying, find a trait that is the same for 3 people in your group. So in this one, you're going to have to actually have 4 pictures. You'll have to have 4 pictures. And you need to make sure that you are labeling them correctly. So for question 1, it's going to be a picture from your parents. Question 2 is going to be a picture of you and your group, and you cannot use your parents again. And then question 3 is going to be 3 people in your group. Then you're going to continue on to answer the different questions. And once you answer all of the questions, you are done. So you need to make sure that you are adding all of these things, because if you do not, it will be points off and you will not get full credit for your lab. I have already started grading labs and I am sending them to you. So in order for you to be successful for this week, you're going to have 1 assignment, which is the definitions, and I'm going to give you until Wednesday of this week to complete the lab. If you need an extension, you need to send me an email directly to mflores@compassrosesa.org and ask me for an extension. If you have other questions, you need to join my office hours so that I can show you step by step on my computer how you're able to get these things done. So please make sure that you are watching this recording. Make sure that you answer the corresponding questions. And if you have any further questions, make sure that you join my office hours. Thank you for all your time and assistance, and I can't wait to see all of your completed labs. Bye.